Hello, everyone. I hope you're ready for this final piece of the conversation that I got to have with Dave Marcinkowski over constant and never-ending improvement. If you remember, I started the CANEI episode with a quote from Ianla Van Zandt, and she says, "Growth is a very profound experience. It can be beautiful and ugly, empowering and confining, thought-provoking and mind-boggling, pleasant and unpleasant, all at the same time. And yet, as you begin to walk through not just Dave's insights or even our own journeys of growth, they are always worth it, even the hard times." Here is the final piece, part 3. Hope you enjoy.
I'm kind of putting some memory together, so I may be wrong in my statistics, but I think if you looked at the Fortune 100 companies a decade ago, I think there's only like 10 that are still in the Fortune 100 today. There may not even be that many on the Fortune 100 today. And I think if you go and you look at it kind of carefully, what you're going to see, the 90 or so that dropped off, they were, they probably didn't have, they had a focus on profitability. They were stuck in their lane. They didn't evolve. They didn't follow CANEI, and they died. Because when you're not growing, you're dying, and that's what happened. The 10 that did, the Alphabets, the Googles, what they were 10 years ago, what they are today, are completely different. I mean, they're getting into autonomous vehicles. They're getting into they're changing the way the world speaks, and because they also share, whether they have it as a value or not, I don't know all their values, but they all represent CANEI as an organization.
Well, and I love the honesty piece here between like what we've been, where we've failed, the aspirations that we have in the past, and then what drives all of that again is, and you said this a second ago, we're not just having a conversation about what we do, we're having a conversation about who we are.
Correct.
And that is what moves us forward. It's what allows us to apologize and turn right back around and say, and this is where we aspire to be better.
Well, and I think what what we are and who we are, I think one of the big differences there is that word relationship. We want to have relationships with all the people we work with. We want to have a relationship with the people that we touch, our vendors, our residents, our investors. The analogy I like to use, and it was my friend, I think it was my former mentor, Marquette Nick Ryan, who kind of taught me this, was, you drop a pebble in a pool of water, a still pool of water, and like you get a little drop, and then these waves start kind of hitting out. I think it would amaze people if you sat down for a few minutes as an apartment team for a second and go, well, who exactly do we touch? And it's extraordinary. You may have a 200-unit property where you touch 1,000 people. And it's like, okay, well, what can we do at our property to help that group of people be a better version of themselves? And what you said earlier, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, is when you have that focus, success and profitability comes. We're not going to focus on profitability. We're going to focus on helping people, and we know the latter follows.
So I got a couple more questions for you here. We started with this conversation a little bit about your particular journey, and especially you. Does the constant piece of constant and never-ending improvement, does that ever feel overwhelming to you?
No, it doesn't. And I think that's something, as I'm talking to people who are listening to this right now, I think it's something that I would really ask them to think about and to understand, like, that's who we are. There's two kind of mindsets that are out there in my world, two differential mindset. You have a scarcity mindset and you have an abundance mindset. So a scarcity mindset is one in which everything could run out in time. But like an abundance mindset doesn't like allow barriers to go, why do we have to do it that way? Why can't we look at it differently? It's our job as I think with Derek Quex and all these other things that we're doing of like, okay, the world's changing. How do we change along with it and be able to help with that? And there's lots of ways for us to do that. And I'm sure there's people out there right now who are probably listening going, man, have we thought about this? Have we thought about that? And one of the things we want to do is offer a forum for our folks to be able to ask those questions, challenge us on those things. So what's a scarcity mindset? Scarcity mindset is one that feels like, in order to get from A to Z, I have to go A to B to C to D to E, F, G, H, and Z. It's assuming I even want to get to Z in the same place. A lot of scarcity mindset is I just want to stay in A for a long period of time. Abundance mindset says, well, how do I go from A to Z? I don't want to go through these other 25 letters to get to that. And so I got to aim way up here to get to that. And I may make some mistakes along the way. I may fail. And if you think about Quex, I'm telling, this is the Quex story, is we shot for Z. And along the ways, we had some setbacks. But guess what? We're almost to Z. In fact, in some cases, we are to Z.
Well, and you do a couple of things here, and I want to pair this back with that social responsibility piece we talked about just a moment ago and what we're trying to do across our company, even for the C-class properties and things like that. You desire even for our residents to have an abundance perspective on life,
Absolutely.
Not a scarcity one. Could you talk about that for just a moment?
Yeah. I mean, I think we want, like, we did it a little bit with Connect, and we're doing with IoT. We're bringing them resources to allow them to save money. To, you bring them, if you bring them internet, high-speed internet, that opens up a whole world to them.
Yeah.
That they maybe didn't have easily before. And it's not just gaming. I mean, think about it, online learning and where that world is going. Where is that world going? Online learning is a huge, huge deal. You can go take classes from Stanford right now for free if you want to. But you got to have internet. So we're giving them those types of resources. We're doing some things right now that I think will be more socially important in our growth. We want to help people improve their credit. We want to help people to be more financially literate. We want to help people be better parents, better coworkers, better friends.
Yeah.
And we want to help them live a better lifestyle. And so when you put those as your focus, your ideas just kind of come pouring out.
Yeah.
And then you pick the good ones. You don't not do the other ones. You just put them on the list kind of further down. Say, okay, we can't do everything at once. I'd love to do everything at once. I can't do that. So we got to that's part of my evolution is getting to a point. It's like, okay, you got to pick the things you can do right now.
Yeah.
That being said, we're always going to be putting more on our plate than what people think we should. And that's just who we are. And it's worked out well for us. And the beauty of making mistakes is we would rather as an organization, and I want to emphasize this, our view of the world in our organization, you see it the most with Quacks, but in other things too, is let's go and do something about it. And if it makes a mistake, we'll iterate from it. We'll fix it and move along. Not try to have it all figured out and then do it. Yeah. That's a huge difference between scarcity and abundance. Yeah. Abundance is a belief that you're going to figure it out and make the necessary changes and move quickly through it. A scarcity is let's go and analyze the crud everything. Let's go and have it all figured out, and then let's try something. Let's go from A to B, test the crud out of it, implement it, and then let's start talking about C. Yeah. That ain't who we are.
For our listeners, here's the last question for you, and then we'll let you go. What bit of encouragement would you give our people about seeing themselves as it's okay not just to fail, but it's okay to seek, and how you would encourage them to seek improvement, whether it is one of our team members who's working on a property in Houston, all the way up to something you might even say to one of our partners. What bit of encouragement would you pass along as we kind of finish here?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Well, how does this affect me? How do I exemplify CANEI? And it's not the same for everybody. We're all at different places in our journey. For me, it's about maybe getting outside your comfort zone on something. Look, as a property team, I'd look around and go, okay, what have we kind of ignored? Or hope it goes away kind of thing. Maybe there's something wrong with a particular apartment unit. Maybe we're behind on something, work orders. It's and we've sold ourselves on this mindset that that's just how it is. Or we've tried everything. Or, somebody else has got to tell me what to do. That's not my role or something. What if instead today you kind of said, okay, what could we do about that? And then go and try it. And if it doesn't work, say, hey, it takes about 99 no's sometimes to get to a yes. You can at least say, hey, that's one no that didn't work out. I only got 98 more to go before I get to the yes. So go and start challenging doing some things to be able to identify those no's. And who knows? Maybe you'll end up getting a yes right off the bat. Yeah. And then it becomes contagious. Once you kind of get in this mindset, and once you can start to sell yourself in the fact that, hey, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. There's only one perfect person in the history of the world. But we're not that. We're just trying to be a better version of ourselves today. So what can I do? So maybe it's going for a walk with your spouse. Maybe it's, going and playing ball with your kids. Maybe it's going to lunch with your team or sitting down with your team and saying, hey, what is it that we could do differently? What is it that's really held us back? Another thing I like to tell people about is nails in the foot. So where are your nails in your foot, and how can we pull those nails out? And it's a powerful process because as small as it may be, that first nail, you're going to go, whoa, wait a minute, that worked. So let's go look at the next nail. And it's okay to start with the little nails. In fact, I'd encourage the little nails. Don't go and try to take on the world day one. I would support you 100% if you chose that, but that may take time and that may determine it. Just go identify the small things.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that I think is so critical for our organization to understand is when you have a value of CANEI, how we used to do it isn't going to work very long. Mm-hmm. It may work in certain instances, but in time, I'd say everything's probably going to be readdressed and something is going to be improved. And if you're someone who sits around and goes, well, that's not how we used to do it. That's not, Dave may be saying that, but Charlie, Gary, and Alan, they don't believe that. If you're one of those people who's using those kind of cons, you're going to have a hard time in our organization because we are moving forward down this path. Yeah. We want every single one of you all to be a part of the journey, but it may not be possible unless you're willing to be an active participant along the way.
Yeah. Man, that's good. As we kind of wrap up here, Dave, I just want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. We listeners out there, I want you to know that there are more of these coming. We're going to continue to have these conversations, and then as Dave talked about even a little bit ago, we're going to invite as many of the leadership as we can. Our intent is even in the future to be going do some field interviews and getting out there and getting to know our people. And then we want to finish with an invitation, like we talked about a minute ago. If you've got questions, if you've got things you'd like us to know, please bring those to us. You can send that, and this is how we're going to do it. And we'll put it out like this. When we release this video, the link to this video, we will put my email at the very bottom of the page. And then if you have questions, you can email me, and I will make certain that these questions get to Dave and to the smarter types in the room who can enlighten us on all the things that are going there. Is there anything else, any last bit you'd like to throw out there?
I'd say a couple things. One, we will welcome all questions. There are no bad questions. The other side of the coin is don't be afraid to challenge us.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a question. It can be like, hey, why did we do it this way? Or, we're doing X. Have you thought about doing something different? Or I don't believe that this is working the way you think it's going to work. You may not like the answer. We would love the question and the challenge. And I will tell you, we will thoughtfully answer those questions one way or another, whether that's in an email that kind of lists them out. We can do it anonymously if you want. Say, hey, I want this email to be anonymous. I don't feel comfortable putting my name to it. Or you can say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and this is my question. I want to know the answer to the question, and you're okay with it. But please, ask and challenge us along the way. The other thing is, I hope we do a lot of these. Well, I don't hope. We will do a lot of these. I will say, as you and I have talked about this, we do cherish people's time. We do understand that everybody's busy right now, and so we're going to try to keep these to 10, 15, 20-minute snippets. But, we're hoping to have probably one of these out every week.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, thank you guys so much for listening to us. Thank you again, Dave, for being here. And we will have this out to you soon, and then we will just continue the journey of having, hopefully, deep discussion and a discerning nature about how we gather and look at the company and look at where we're going in the future. And so thank you guys again. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you.